Hey, welcome to Mind Vomit. Today, we're taking one of my sketches and we're turning it into a digital piece of artwork that I can use to put on stickers or a t-shirt. I'm going to try to show you how I do that really quickly, but this is Mind Vomit and that's the way my mind works. We'll see if we can explain this properly or not. So what I typically do is I load my sketch into Adobe Illustrator, and the reason I use Illustrator is because I can scale it to any size I want. Whether I want it really small or on the size of a building, I can scale it without it becoming pixelated. And that's why I use Illustrator. You can see my sketch here. It's kind of rough. I don't draw them really detailed anymore because if I'm going to bring them into Illustrator, I can change a lot of this. So this is where I am on the sketch right now. I've made quite a bit of improvements, and I will add a time lapse after this description of how I do this after this. Anyway, it's not finished yet, but in this one I used a combination of pen tool and blob brush. A lot of times I will use pen tool exclusively if I want something really crisp and clean. This one I kind of wanted elements of hand-drawn and pen tool. So this medium teal color here, this is done with the blob brush, and same with this down here. It has more of a hand-drawn kind of quality to it. These darker shaded teals were done with a pen tool, including some of these highlights. They were done with shapes or pen tool because I wanted them to be highlights and crisp and clean. So this is kind of a mixture of both. Let me show you how I do that. I would go into a document and I would set up we got something sitting over here that shouldn't be. So let's delete that. Where's my delete button? There it is. Sorry, I gotta reach around my tablet. So I also use a Huion, like a pressure tablet, or I use my mouse for the pen tool. So what I do is I set up layers in Illustrator where I have an inking layer, which is the top layer, my color layer, which is underneath that. Right? I don't color the strokes and the fill on the same layer because I want to be able to add these shadows and these highlights in between. And let me make this very apparent. I am not an Adobe software guru. I just watch Skillshare. I watch YouTube. I watched YouTube and I learned what I needed to know to do what I wanted to do. So there might be faster ways to do this. That's probably true. Sometimes I use the blob brush to color in things, and I do that just because it's fun. It's probably slower, but I do it because it's fun. So let's do blob brush. Sometimes I will do inking with the blob brush where I'll come in and I will draw lines and just do that. Oh, I did that on the wrong layer. Let's do that on the inking layer. So sometimes I will ink with the blob brush like this, and then I'll go to the lock it, go to the color layer, and let's say I want the color to be, it looks like fire, so why don't we go with like an orangish yellow, and then I will use the blob brush to color that in, right? And then I will lock that, and then on my shadow layer I want something a little darker than this orange, so let's go for like a reddish orange. Let's say that we, boop, there we go. And for the highlight we'll go back up to this yellow, we'll pick a lighter yellow. We gotta do that on the highlight layer, right? Right, don't forget. It's Mind Vomit. I'm allowed to forget things, right? Because my brain's all over the place. And it happens when you have ADHD, so whatever. Let's just add one more thing on the shadow layer here just for fun. There we go. So that's how I would do it with blob brush, right? So let's show you how I would do this with the pen tool. So we'll make this one really simple. Pen tool, we'll change this to black outline on the ink. We'll do just a simple circle, bump up the stroke so that we can actually see it, right? Because I'm working on a huge canvas. Lock that layer, go to the color layer, let's add a teal. And usually I will color this in with a blob brush. Don't ask me why, it's just for some reason it's very satisfying. I know there's probably faster ways to do it, but I like coloring this stuff in. I don't know, something peaceful about it, and I need all the peace I can get in my head, so it's calming to me. Boom, we colored it in, like coloring a coloring book, right? Like I'm going back to first grade or whatever. I didn't color in the lines back then, so there's that. Okay, so we'll go to the shadow layer and we'll pick a darker teal color, and this is where like if I use the pen tool, I choose the pen tool and I will shadow, like I will draw it out by hand with the mouse. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just trying to stay within this black line without going outside of it. And I have it set to stroke, so I want to flip it to fill, and I'm going to lock that. So there's my shadow. And then I'll do my highlight. We'll choose a color that, and we'll just create like a little highlight with this ellipse. Turn that. Oh, that looks cool, yeah. Then Alt, drag. There's a duplicate. We'll rescale this. Hold Shift, scale it down. Zoom in so I can see. Drag this up there. Oh wow! Look at that highlight. Or we could do with the pen tool. You could do like the. Here we go. We'll flip it to stroke. We will bump up that stroke a few. Here we go. Da, 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 da. And we'll change this profile to something like that. Bump it up a little more so everybody can see at home. Well, there you go. That is how I do my illustrations in Adobe Illustrator. In this case of the robot, I just mishmashed them. I just put, you know what? I just put the two together. Is what I did. So I the friggin' pen tool, which I just showed you right here, and I have the blob brush. I just combined them. So I wanted to have the clean look, but I also wanted that hand-drawn feel, so it just kind of registers in your head that, wow, this is a really clean piece of artwork, you know. But at the same time, there's just these little things that you just don't pick up with a pen. Like, there's just things that register in your head that this wasn't completely done digitally, that someone actually put some handwork in it too, you know. I hope that this explains kind of quickly how I do my artwork. Watch for this on my stores. If you like this robot, I think I'm going to put it on a shirt on Threadless. You know what? Go check out my stores and see what's there, and check back with them often, because I'm going to try to keep doing more and more designs. I think the more I'm drawing, the more crazy stuff is coming out of my head. You know what? I just want to turn everything I make into a shirt or a sticker or something, so check it out. And I hope you stick around for the time lapse, and I hope you like the video. And if you want to learn more, keep watching. Check out all the other videos. Who knows what's going to happen. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Tell them run it all. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm #1 up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Niger, he'll come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself there getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all.